Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the Unbiased Hard Take.
And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, as always, me and JB going to wrap up Week 17 in the NFL. As you can see, a little bit of a different background for me here. Wife's not feeling well. I'm feeling much better. Hopefully, JB's tooth isn't hurting him too bad today. So, feeling a lot better on my end. But hey, wife's resting in the room, so different location today. So with that, JB, what is one game from Week 17 that you want to wrap up?
To me, I did not do a short take on my Pittsburgh Steelers winning over the Seahawks, but I'm going to say one thing that call on the Lions and Cowboys was stupid. Lions should have won that game fair and square, and the refs just blown out the proportion of everything like usual. I feel like, to me, I want to say they wanted the Cowboys to win, but that's just me. Because I mean, almost basically every trick play is controversial. But yeah, it is what it is. The Reds aren't probably not gonna do anything about it. So yeah. But for me, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Seahawks game, about the score, it looked like an ugly game, but it was not an ugly game. In the passing game, the Seahawks played a little bit better, but our run game is the one that basically carried us. Mason Rudolph went 18 for 24, 274 yards, no touchdowns and no interceptions with the QBR of 70.9, and his rating was 112.2. For the rushing, this is nice. Najee Harris went all beast mode on the Seattle Seahawks. 27 carries for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns. His average carry was at a 4.5 average. His longest run was a 23. Jalen Warren also had a nice game with 13 carries, 75 yards. Average was a 5.8 and 1 touchdown. And his longest rush is a 23. George Pickens, like I said last podcast, if you give George Pickens the ball, he'll do amazing things. 7 catches for 131. Sadly, like I said, Mason Rudolph did not throw a touchdown, so no touchdowns for George Pickens. Deontay Johnson, he did not drop a pass. He went 4 for 4 for only 76 yards. And then Pat Freiermuth came in or caught the ball, and he only caught 3 catches for 44 yards. Jalen Warren also with 4 catches and 23 yards. But where we had the most, I want to say the most success, but our defense actually stopped the run really well on the Seattle Seahawks rushing. They only had 88 rushing yards and only 1 touchdown. So to me, that is really good. DK had a really good game, 5 catches for 106 yards. But yeah, our defense played really good. Miles Jack came back, or we signed him back, and because of our linebacker situation, because basically it feels like all of our linebackers are hurt. So it is what it is. But he came in and actually did really well. He had 8 total tackles, and Eric Rowe, he stepped up today, or he stepped up big with 10 total tackles and 1 tackle for loss. TJ Watt barely seen any action. He had 1 QB hit, with only 2 total tackles. So they basically stayed away from him the best they could, and they actually did a really good job on that. So yeah, all in all, I mean, it was a good game. Like I said, it looked like a Steelers win on the score, but not on paper. So, like I said, congratulations to the Pittsburgh Steelers going 9-7, and we're still sticking on the consecutive wins in the regular season. So, but yeah, that's
right. Mike Tomlin is now at 17 straight seasons without a losing record. That's
Yep.
insane.
Yep.
To be able to put up that many winning seasons, and people wanted him fired, and here we are. Pittsburgh now still has a chance, Week 18, make a playoff push. Thank you to the Steelers because they beat Seattle, which helped Green Bay gain control of their own playoff destiny now. Because those who do not know, we beat Chicago this Sunday. We're in the playoffs. It's that simple.
Yep.
So thank you for Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin now at 17 straight consecutive winning, non-losing seasons, however you want to look at it. So absolutely. One game I want to talk about is the Arizona and Philadelphia game. Because, Arizona won this game by more than 4 points, truly, because you look, they won the entire game. 449 total yards for the Cardinals, Philadelphia 275. Passing yards, Philadelphia had 184, Arizona 228. Rushing yards, 221 rushing yards for the Cardinals, and the Eagles 91. Yards per play, 6.2 for the Cardinals and 5.9 for the Eagles, and the Cardinals won time of possession by over 19 minutes. So the Cardinals dominated every phase of this, and you look, Philadelphia, their defense has done a complete 180 in all the wrong ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at their defense, who do you think has a better ranked defense? The Packers with Joe Barry or the Eagles? The Packers. Joe Barry's defense is rated better overall than the Eagles' defense is.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
That's bad. That's bad. That is really, really bad. The fact that their defense is abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
35 points putting up by the Cardinals, who truly don't have any weapons. And yes, I'm a fan of Kyler Murray. I've said that the Cardinals don't need to move on from him, and he proved it again. 3 touchdowns, 232 yards, 25 for 31, added 24 yards on the ground, put 35 points up, went into Philadelphia and beat them. So the Cardinals need to build around Kyler. I said that last week that I thought Arizona would play them better than people thought, but I didn't think they'd win. You look at Philadelphia, they're probably now going to have to go on the road in the playoffs unless Dallas somehow loses to the Commanders, which probably won't happen. But the game, I guess, is in Washington, and Dallas is a horrible road team, so we'll see what happens. But right now, it's looking like Philadelphia's going to have to go on the road as a wild card. They're not playing good defense. Their offense is spotty. It's kind of a Lamborghini that has a bad motor in it. I've said that before. So, Philadelphia, it might be time to hit the panic button. But we'll see when playoff time comes.
Right.
But with that, me and JB are going to wrap. That's all we have for Week 17. So me and JB are going to flip the page over to Week 18 here. And as you can see above our screens here, with 1 week, that's right, with 1 week left in the DoorDash race regular season prediction, your boy JB here is 157 and 99, and your boy Chandler 163 and 93. Last week, me and JB both had good weeks. I was 14 and 2, and JB was 12 and 4. So we both had good weeks. But after week 16, where JB smacked me around pretty good, I bounced back week 17. So JB's got one more chance here to catch up, and we'll see what happens. So with that, JB, we'll start off with your team. Saturday football, who you got last week of the year. And before I start, this is actually probably the hardest week me and you will predict, because a lot of these teams are already been eliminated. Baltimore's already clinched everything, so they're probably not going to play a lot of their starters. Do teams who've already clinched their playoff seeding, do they rest? So this is a hard week to pick. So this should be a lot of fun. So with that, JB, who you got? Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
Oh man. Well, if Baltimore does not rest their starters, or they play for a little bit for like the first half, and they rest in the second half, I do kind of see that happening because I don't think they really don't want to ruin the healthiness of the Baltimore Ravens right now. For me, I'm gonna stick with the black and gold. I think they're the underdogs on this game, even though Baltimore has been beating the snot out of every team that they come past with.
Yeah.
All starting with I want to say starting with the Bengals because they won 34-20. Um, but for the past 3 games, they beat Jacksonville 23-7, 49ers 33-19, and the Dolphins. Out of all teams, the Dolphins 56-19. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with the black and gold on this one, on this game. I don't think, excuse me, but I think we're waiting for Kenny Pickett to actually be 100% healthy. Since we had 2 good games with Mason Rudolph. Um, I think it's time for. I think he's. I do believe he's probably going to start, unless he's plays horrible, and then Kenny Pickett will probably come in. But that is just me, in my opinion. But yeah, I am going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers on this game because, one, we always play the Ravens tough, and two, the Ravens never blown the Steelers out at all.
Oh no! Division games like that, two teams that don't like each other very much. You know it's going to be a good game.
Yep. So I don't think the Ravens is not going to um, squash us like they did the Dolphins last week. So it's going to be an ugly, and I mean an ugly win. Probably will be one of the most ugliest wins that the Steelers has ever faced. But give me the Pittsburgh Steelers on this game.
And I thought we would be different here, and we're not. I'm picking Pittsburgh as well, not because I think Pittsburgh is better than Baltimore. I do not. But let's also take into account that Pittsburgh's fighting for their playoff lives. They currently have 9 wins and have the same record as the Texans and Colts. However, the Steelers, unfortunately for them, have lost to both Houston and Indianapolis, so they do not own the tiebreaker in any way against either one of those teams. So Pittsburgh needs some help to get in. Baltimore's clinched the #1 seed. They've clinched everything. The division, there's nothing for them to gain. So how motivated are they?
Oh, they're
How many
motivated.
starters? How many starters are going to play? Lamar just lit up Miami. Baltimore lit up Miami. A lot of people think Lamar Jackson's the MVP after that game. He's the odds favorite right now. So I don't think he is personally. Let's see what Week 18 brings, of course, first, and then we'll start talking a little bit more of that. I want to see a full game season before I officially say who I think MVP should be. Um, but you pretty much know who I think it should be. Um, I think Pittsburgh wins here. They're desperate. Mason Rudolph has been playing, like you said, very good football. Um, Mike Tomlin said they're going to start Mason Rudolph, even though Kenny Pickett's medically cleared. So I think that says more about Kenny Pickett than it. I don't think they have a lot of faith in him. Um, I think they might move on from him after this year. That's a different topic for a different time. But Mason Rudolph's playing good football. Mike Tomlin's an elite coach. Again, 17 seasons without a losing record. That's outstanding. I think Pittsburgh gets to 10 wins here. I think they beat Baltimore because I don't think Baltimore play a lot of starters. Give me Pittsburgh.
Okay.
All right. Ooh, this is a big one because losers automatically done. Who you got? The Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. This is that wild card race, and this is big.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Man, right now I am looking at the um playoff picture at right now. Um so right now, oh man, I don't know.
The Colts currently own the tiebreaker because the Colts previously beat Houston already.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, that could change this week.
See, I'm looking at all the charts and everything. Chance to make a playoffs with win is both tied with the Houston and the Colts, but the chance to win the game, Colts has it by a hair. Um, but man, this one's a tough one. Um, because either way, I mean both of them can go either way for me.
I would agree with that. This is one of the harder games of the week.
Exactly. But we have to pick.
That's what makes this fun.
I'm gonna pick the Colts.
Really?
Give
Okay.
me the Colts on this game. Just for the fact that Gardner Minshew has actually been a really good quarterback so far for this for the Colts and their organization right now. Um, and right now I want to say when they played against the Houston Texans, he actually Gardner Minshew played really well. I'm trying to find the when they played him. Here it is. It was already went all the way back in week 2. Even though it really wasn't a good game for the Colts, it was on the last minute drive. But this is the game where Anthony Richardson came out of the game after that concussion, and Gardner Minshew actually finished the job with 171 yards and 1 touchdown. But yeah, I'm picking the Colts because Gardner Minshew has been really well against all the teams so far. So give me the Colts.
I see JB's tired of getting burnt by the Colts because it seems like every time you pick the Colts to lose, they win, and
Yep.
every time you pick them to win, they lose.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna be right in that pit of failure with you if they lose because I truly have Indy here. I hope Houston wins, but Indianapolis. I mean, like I said, Shane Steichen has them playing outstanding football. They've been in playoff contention with Gardner Minshew all season long. They were out there. They were able to go out there against a Raiders team who's playing very hard for Antonio Pierce. Excuse me, get the win. Jonathan Taylor, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. So you look at Gardner Minshew, 1 touchdown, 224 yards, 15 for 23. And I mean, yeah, they got the 3-point win. I watched that game. It wasn't a very pretty win for the Colts, but a win nonetheless, and it was in Indy. This game against Houston's in Indianapolis, and I've said before, I'm high on Houston. I hope they make the playoffs. I think D'Amico Ryans has done a hell of a job. But even if they lose this game, that put them at 9-8. So a winning football team. If you'd told me at the beginning of the season that Houston would have a winning record at the end of the season, I think most people would have laughed at you. So Houston's doing an outstanding job, but CJ Stroud's a rookie quarterback. Yes, he's having the best rookie quarterback season in NFL history by far, and it's not even close. I understand that, but he's still a rookie. This game's in Indianapolis. This is for both their playoff lives. Win, go home. It's that simple. So this is a rivalry game on top of it. Indianapolis, they've they have a more veteran group. They're less of a young team. They're more experienced. I think in these situations, stuff like that matters. So especially when both teams are evenly matched. I mean, both teams have the same record. I consider the Colts and Texans to be right in the same area of talent-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to teams that are evenly matched, I look for things like leadership, experience. How long have you been around? Have you been here before? And Shane Steichen has. He's been a coordinator in a Super Bowl. Gardner Minshew's a veteran quarterback. Jonathan Taylor's a veteran superstar. They have veteran players. So because of their leadership, give me the Colts. Okay, this is another big game. Stay in that same we're staying in that same division because that division is still a three-way tie because last week in week 17, Houston, Indy, and Jacksonville all won. So with that, Jacksonville wins this game they're in. Who do you have? The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, man. I mean, honestly, it is a no-brainer because the Tennessee Titans are have been eliminated. No shocker there.
Right.
Um, but give me the Jacksonville Jaguars on this game. I think they're gonna come out, put up 20 points, give the Titans about 10, 12 points, 13 points, somewhere around there. But yeah, they're gonna get the dub on this one, hands down. So yeah, Jaguars is gonna win this game for sure.
I am also picking Jacksonville cautiously because I mean, you look, Jacksonville's banged up right now. I mean, is Trevor Lawrence going to play? No one really knows. Um, his status is still up in the air. So with Trevor Lawrence still up in the air, you have C.J. Beathard. So I don't think this game is an automatic win for Jacksonville. I think they could very well lose this game. Because yes, C.J. Beathard did go out there and beat the Panthers 26-0, but let's be honest, it's the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers are not a good football team, but he was able to go out there and manage the game. 178 yards, 17 for 24 for Beathard. So he went out there, he didn't make any mistakes. He wasn't the reason they won the game. But I mean, let's be honest, Tennessee's not a super powered team. Jacksonville's playing for their playoff lives here. Even without Trevor Lawrence, I did it last week, and it was a really smart move for me to pick Jacksonville because they're still leading their division. I'm not selling my Jag stock. I think they're still going to win the division. So with that, give me Jacksonville. I think they win. They're too good of a coach football team by Doug Peterson.
Yep.
All right, we're on the same page here. Maybe we'll have a different one this week. We'll see. An NFC North matchup. Who you got, JB? The Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions.
Ooh. Um. I mean, honestly, Vikings have been eliminated, right? Yeah. Yeah, I do believe.
Not officially. They have a 3% chance to make the postseason now with that loss to
Ooh,
Green Bay. They
3%.
need a, yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
they might as well just be eliminated at this point. Um, honestly, give me the Lions on this one. Just for the fact, the Lions are pretty PO'd about the situation with the that 2 point conversion and that controversial play that the refs screwed them on against the Cowboys game. So I think they're pretty PO'd about it. So and the Vikings really doesn't have that much of a firepower to actually stop the Lions at this point. Because I do believe it is it a 3-way tie with the first seed in the NFC.
The 49ers clinched.
49ers did clinch. Okay, so
The Lions could still get the 2 seed, or they could be the 3 seed, depending what happens with Philly, Dallas, and all them. So the Lions are still technically playing for seeding, but they have clinched the division. They will get a home playoff game.
okay, so yeah, I do believe they're gonna get yeah. So yeah, either way, Lions are gonna win regardless.
And I agree with you. Detroit, I think it'd be a little different here if they were possibly resting their starters, but I don't think they'll rest their starters considering the fact they are still playing for seeding, so not everything is locked up. So you add that onto the fact that horrible call with Dallas, and I'm going to talk about that for a quick second here. Um, I think what happened more so is Detroit confused the referees because you see them check with the referees,
Mm-hmm.
you see it happen, and I seen a thing that they were trying to run a trick play sort of because no one's guarding a lineman. Let's be honest, no one's guarding a lineman, but he checked in as eligible. So that's the only thing I can think of, unless the referee did it on purpose. I want to see if the NFL takes action against these referees because it's beginning to get unacceptable. I can't handle it anymore. That refereeing was horrible. That
Yep.
was absolutely abysmal. And what's more abysmal is as an NFL head coach, if that happens to you, yes, it sucks. You just got the 2-point conversion. You should have the lead. But as an NFL head coach, you should have a high enough football IQ to realize, oh, now we have to go for it from the 7-yard line. The likelihood of making that is slim to none. Maybe I should just kick the extra point and go to overtime. That's what I would have done. And they didn't. And it bit him in the butt. And then they ended up losing the game. They could have went to overtime and had a chance to win it there. You win the coin toss, you go down the field, you score a touchdown, it's over. You make a defensive stop, Aiden Hutchinson gets a sack or something along those lines, you get a field goal, you win the game. That's what they should have done. But look, Minnesota coming off that horrible performance against the Packers, which makes my soul deeply, deeply happy because there is no skull chance. We virtually ruined the Vikings' playoff chances in Minnesota. That makes me super happy.
Skull.
Oh yeah, you see Kirk Cousins out there with his ribcage showing.
Nope.
Look it up. Look up Kirk Cousins. He was the skull. Their little participant they have at the beginning of the game ceremony guy. He was shirtless, and when he was doing the skull chant, you could see his ribcage. It's priceless. You have to go watch it. But I mean, you look, Jaron Hall, he got benched at halftime, deservingly so. That strip sack that got the Packers 6 more points right before halftime, and they threw Nick Mullins back in there, who didn't look any better. So I mean, the quarterback carousel in Minnesota. Detroit's still playing for seeding. I think the Lions win. All right, moving forward. Oh, the Saints. Oh, the team that every time you seem to think it's over for them, they always seem to snap right back into it. So who do you got, JB? The Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. If New Orleans wins and Tampa Bay loses, the Saints are division champions.
Hmm.
Atlanta has been eliminated.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, since the Falcons have been eliminated, I don't think they have the fight in it anymore as the way they wanted to. But I do see the Saints winning this game. Well, actually, I'll take that back. The Falcons might have they might ruin the Saints' chances. So you know what? I'm going with the underdogs on this game. Give me the Falcons.
And to correct myself, Atlanta has not been quite mathematically eliminated, but their chances are very slim. So correction there. So JB's going with the Falcons. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our first different game of the week. Because I have the Saints here, because it seems like every time I pick against the Saints, it always bites me in the butt. I thought Tampa Bay had it locked. And the one time I bet on Baker Mayfield and Tom Brady Jr., I'll get into that later. The one time I actually bet on them to win the division, can't seem to do it. They lost, and they had truly a horrible performance. They had a chance to lock the division up at home, and they were not able to do so. It was not a very good performance for the Buccaneers. So you look at the Saints here. Yeah, they still have Derek Carr. I mean, they have plenty of talent. The Saints do. I mean, we picked them to win the division before the season started, but
Mm-hmm.
they're a very inconsistent team at best. That division's a dumpster fire. It's the worst division in football. So we'll see who pulls out of it. At this point, it's probably going to be the Saints or the Bucks. I know the Falcons still have a technical chance, but I mean, I think New Orleans win this game. I've bet Derek Carr is a above average quarterback. I think he's vastly overrated. But I mean, this game is New Orleans. It's against the division rival. I think they'll go out there. I think they'll go out there and win. Give me even the Saints.
Hmm. Okay.
All right. We'll see if we have a different one here because neither one of these teams are playing for anything. The New York Jets at the New England Patriots.
The game after Toilet Bowl, or the season after Toilet Bowl game.
Both these teams are playing for nothing except pride
And draft pick, I do believe.
and a better draft pick.
But Let me look at this real quick here. So I think Balin Zappi.
Everybody hit Zappy!
Zappi! You know what? ESPN predicts that the New York Jets are gonna win, but I am going to pick the underdogs on this one. Give me the Patriots. I just for Belichick to like you said before, he is a defensive coach. Um, he knows how to do things on defense. With the Jets' offense is in shambles. With everything that's going on, I just seen like some of the receivers are injured. Zach Wilson is injured. Alan Lazard is injured. I mean, do you have quite a few people that are injured right now?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So with everything being said, I think Bailey Zappi is going to do it again. He's going to come in clutch. So yeah, give me the Patriots.
I agree with you. I think New England wins this game, but I don't think it's because of Bailey Zappi because you looked 3 interceptions against the Bills. But here's the kicker. They only lost by 6 points. So you look New England, yes, their record's abysmal. This is the worst New England team me and you have seen in our lifetime.
Yep.
But I mean, you look, New England as of recent is playing teams better. A 6-point loss against the Bills, a 3-point win against the Broncos, a 10-point loss against the Chiefs, a 3-point win against Pittsburgh, a 6-point loss against the Chargers, a 3-point loss against the Giants, a 4-point loss against the Colts. All of those games have one thing in common. They're close games. New England's not getting their ass kicked. They're not getting blown out
Mm-hmm.
of the water. They're not. They're keeping it close. So Bill Belichick's a defensive coach. The Patriots have a solid defense. It's just their offense is so inept. It couldn't move the ball on a Division I college team. It couldn't. Their offense is abysmal. And Bailey Zappi, 3 interceptions. Mac Jones is worse somehow. So I mean, you look. I think this is going to be. But let's look at the Jets also. Who's their quarterback going to be? Is it going to be Trevor Siemian? Is it going to be Zach Wilson? Is it going to be some other third string quarterback they throw out there? The Jets don't have a good offense either. The Jets have a top 5 bottom offense. Their statistics are around the area of Carolina, and that's not a category you want to be associated with when your offense is as bad as Carolina's. So I think the Patriots here, you know, a Belichick team's not going to go out there and tank. You know it's not going to happen. So I think New England's going to go out there and win a very low-scoring, ugly football game. Give me the Pats. Oh boy, it's that time of the week. Who you got this week, JB? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady Jr. going to win this game, taking the playoffs, and then go win Super Bowl MVP. Or the Carolina Panthers. This game is in Carolina.
Really? Give me Panthers. No, give me the Bucks. I mean, it's an easy pick. Um, like I mean, like like, come on, like it's an easy win. I do believe this is going to be an easy win. Like Buccaneers is a lot better team. The Panthers the whole organization of the Panthers are in shambles. They need I don't know what they need to fix their front office, take everyone out and start fresh. That's what I think they should do. Take everyone out and start fresh. So, and then they need to get weapons for Bryce Young. It was a horrible start for him. Well, I feel sorry for the kid. I do believe he has talent. I mean, we've seen it with the Packers game.
Yeah.
We've seen it with the Packers game. He has talent. He has full potential, but he has no weapons. No weapons. He has a
No.
horrible offensive line. Their defense sucks.
Actually, their defense is top 5 in total defense.
Eh. when
It's
when
just their offense
games
is so inept.
when games that matter, the Panthers defense really
It's
doesn't show up as often.
situationally type of deal.
Yes, because I mean, for some games, like I'm just pulling out some games, like the Lions game, the Dolphins game, the Cowboys game, um, the Saints, and the Packers. Oh, and the Jaguars. I mean, those are like 20 points deficit.
Yeah.
Well, except for the Packers game, though, they only lost by 3.
Oh, dear God. No. That feels
But
like forever ago, and it wasn't.
I mean, like all the games I mentioned, they're almost over 20 points. So, I mean, even though it says that they're top 5, but clearly they're not. Because if their defense was that good or they're top 5, they it's not showing it. But like, and also like their offense is horrible. I mean,
Oh, it's one of the worst in the league. Absolutely, it is the worst in the league.
but they just don't have weapons. I feel sorry for Bryce Young. I do believe if we give him weapons and give him a good offensive line, they might have a shot at something. But now is they have nothing. They have nothing to support him, and I feel sorry for the kid. So, um, but yeah, the whole entire Panthers organization, just fire everyone, start fresh, start like coaches, front office, everything. Hire everyone, start fresh. But yeah, the Buccaneers way too overpowered. I think it's going to be the Buccaneers in a landslide. They're probably going to do the exact same thing as the Jaguars did. 20 or they scored 26-0. That's probably going to be how it is. How it's going to be right there. I don't think the Panthers either the Panthers will score, but it's going to be a very low number. And the Buccaneers are just going to just keep on going.
I agree 100% with you. I think Tampa Bay wins this game. I think Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady Jr., gonna go Super Bowl, is gonna win this game, make the playoffs. I mean, it's against the worst team in the league, and it's not close. And again, they win this game they're in, so a lot matters here for Tampa Bay. It is against a division rival as well. So I mean, I think Tampa Bay goes out there and they win easily. Um, but Tampa Bay did not play well last week against the Saints. They only scored under 16 points, 13 points total scored. Baker Mayfield 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So I mean, you got to take care of the ball a little better. You can't be making those mistakes, especially in this Panthers game when your playoff hopes are on the line here. So a big game for Baker. I mean, I want to see if he can actually lead a big win and get him to the playoffs. That is truly where we're at. His stats are good. I understand all that. He needs to be able to show he can win a division. He needs to be able to, because this is the worst division in football. If you can't win the NFC South, you can't win any division.
Mm-hmm.
You got to beat the Panthers. This is a must-win game for Baker Mayfield. And let's talk about the Panthers for a minute because they're an absolute clown show all over the board. And they're not going to be able to get Bryce Young any players because of the Bears own their draft pick. On top of the fact that their owner just threw a beverage on a bunch of fans in Jacksonville because he's an entitled billionaire. I don't know if you've seen that or not. That David Tepper, the Panthers owner, from his suite, beverage on Jacksonville Jaguars fans. If I'm the Jaguars fan, I'm suing. Because me and you both know, if me and you were to go to a football game and throw in a beverage of any kind, alcohol, it could be water, it could be soda pop, who cares? If we were to throw a beverage, me and you would be banned from NFL games. But because he's an owner and because he has a lot of money, he's above the law. He shouldn't be, but let's be honest, he is. He can do whatever he wants because he has money, and he knows it. Acting like a child. After seeing that video, did you see it?
Yeah, I seen it.
After seeing that, truly, I hope the Panthers never have success again. So long as the owner, I got nothing for that franchise. I will be rooting for the Panthers' demise after seeing that. So long as he's their owner, you can't be doing that. You gotta be better than that. Yeah, give me Tampa Bay. Fuck the Panthers. Fuck David Tepper. Dude shouldn't be an owner of an NFL team. You don't like the F bombs? Sorry. Tough luck. It needs to be said. People can't just do whatever they want because they have a lot of money.
Yep. They should be
But-
treated the same way as how we treated.
Bingo. It's a black eye on the NFL. I want to see if Roger Goodell does anything about it. Because me and you both know if a player would have thrown something on a fan, they would have already been suspended. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. We'll see what the NFL does if they do anything. I want to monitor that. Moving forward, maybe something a little less depressing. Who do you got? The Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals have been eliminated, and Cleveland has clinched the wild card.
Well, either game. Don't get the it's a win-lose situation for either team at this point. Um, but the Browns, the last 5 games, they only lost 1 game, and with the last 5 games for the Bengals, they're only 3-2 because they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers and they lost to the Kansas City. But let's see. Anthony Walker's injured. Mark Cooper's injured. Basically, those are the only key players that for the Cleveland Browns, really. But yeah, that Mark Cooper injury, even though he shows it's questionable, I think he still will still be out for that game, because that injury was very, very scary. But I'm surprised the person didn't get fined because it was a hit. But or it got suspended for the rest of the season. I don't know. But anyways, at this point, I mean, who knows? But the only person on the Bengals injury report is Jalen Davis. So Bengals are looking healthy. Right now it's just a record. But I do believe the Browns might win. I think they're just going to rest their starters since they already clinched and they're already in the wild card and the Bengals are eliminated. So they might as well just rest their starters and have just the secondary play. But I do believe that the Browns... Actually, no. I'll take that back. If the Browns rest their starters, which I do believe they will, the Bengals are going to win 100%. Because the Browns secondaries. Look who they have a quarterback. Who they have at quarterback. That's good.
The Bengals
The Browns.
at quarterback.
Yes, at quarterback.
They have Flacco, but if they rest him, it's probably look at.
He's probably going to rest since they already clinched the wild card.
I would agree. I think this is a possible resting game here.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, who's their quarterback?
Probably DTR. Dorius Thompson Robinson would be my bet if I had to guess.
Oh man, it's just yeah. So that's why I'm picking the Bengals to win this game. That's just for the fact that if the Browns rest their stars, which I do believe they will, I can't see the reason why not to. It's just the point of getting them injured and just. But yeah, give me the Bengals.
And you see, we are different here, and I understand. Everything you just said, because everything you said is right. This is a possible resting game here. I mean, you look, Cleveland's just a better team overall. I hate Week 18. I really hate Week 18 because a lot of these games matter, and a lot of these games don't. I mean, because Cleveland's they're locked in their spot here. Cincinnati's eliminated. This game truly means nothing. This is one of those games, but based on I'm a man of facts. So when I say facts, I'm not analytics guys. I like to see what's happened over the season. Obviously, Cleveland's the better team. Cleveland's won some games with Dorian Thompson-Robinson previously. They've started 4 different quarterbacks. They still have the #1 defense in the NFL against Jake Browning. That's not good. Kansas City just went out there and made Jake Browning look average, which he is. He's a backup quarterback in the NFL. 197 yards, 1 touchdown. So Kansas City eliminated Cincinnati because of that. I just think Cleveland's a better team. I understand this is one of those possible resting games, and Cleveland was able to clinch a playoff spot with Joe Flacco, who went out there and lit him up, man. 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. David Njoku, 134 yards. Elijah Moore, 1 touchdown. And like you said, Amari Cooper probably won't play to save himself for the playoffs. I get all that. I think Cleveland's a better team. They've been a better team all year. I'm gonna roll with the better team, even with the backups. Give me the Browns cautiously. Because again, I hate Week 18, man. A lot of these games are hard to pick.
Yeah. But I mean, the reason why DTR actually won a few games is because of their defense. I mean,
It absolutely is.
what did he do offensively that actually gave the Browns a shot at something? None.
No, he didn't.
None.
No,
And
he didn't.
and I do believe they're going to rest their defense too. And I don't know who's the backup for the Browns are on their defense side. I don't think Myles Garrett is hardly ever going to see snaps. I mean, he might see like some here and there, but I don't think that they're going to rest him too.
Oh, I think they
So
will. Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, I mean the Browns. I do believe this is the a 100% all starters are going to be resting.
I think that's possible, but just a gut feeling here, man. I just think the Cleveland's just a better team. They are, and I know you think that too. But man, I hate Week 18. Hate it because
Mm-hmm.
all these possible resting players makes it hard.
Yep.
But we will see the Battle of Ohio. Ooh, moving forward, this game matters. My favorite time of the week. Who do you got, JB? It's ownership week. The Chicago Bears, who Green Bay eliminated with their win against Minnesota. It's always fun to personally, as the Packers, to personally eliminate the Bears from the playoffs. Again, makes my soul just bubble with joy. So who do you got? The Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay win, they are in. It is that simple. They don't need any help. Who do you got?
um, I mean it's pretty easy for me. Um, I'm gonna pick with the Packers, just for the fact that I mean it's the Bears. Even though Justin Fields actually looked somewhat decent, once again he looked actually pretty decent against the Atlanta Falcons. Um, he two total touchdowns, one rushing, one passing. He went 20 for 32, 268 yards. Like I said, one passing with a QBR of 66 and a rating of 99.5. Their run game was actually really good on this one. Khalil Herbert, 18 carries, 124 yards, and one touchdown. Justin Fields, 11 for 45, 11 carries, 45, and one touchdown. And Rashawn Johnson, 7 carries, 21 yards, and one touchdown. DJ Moore once again had an amazing game. I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm not surprised, but because it's DJ Moore, for the fact that he's been good with Justin Fields. So he had DJ Moore had a few games played good with Justin Fields. 9 carries, 159 yards, and one touchdown. So yeah, with everything that being said, like I said, Justin Fields looked okay. Some people are like, No, he played really good. No, he played okay. He played okay. Um. So yeah, leaving on that note, but I think it's going to be a close game because Joe Barry and that great defensive coordinator Joe Barry and the Packers defense are going to come out
Oh boy.
and they're going to look amazing in the three quarters. And then all of a sudden, the Bears are going to come right back, and it's going to be a one-score game.
Oh.
Um, so yeah, Joe Barry, I think he's going to come out and actually get that one last final stop.
Oh.
So give me the Packers.
You know, I 100% agree. It's ownership week. I mean, we own the Bears. We've always owned the Bears. We will always own the Bears. The Bears, I hate the Bears. And it feels good. A win and get in game against the Bears. You know that'll probably be America's game of the week with how great that rivalry's been and how historic that rivalry is. I think it's the best rivalry in sports. I know you would disagree with me on that, but I'm a little biased if I had to say so myself. So you look here. I mean, Jordan Love, man. I'm about to say Aaron Rodgers. Uh, too many decades with that. But Jordan Love here, man. I mean, he has 33 total touchdowns. He's cut them turnovers over. 16 touchdowns, 1 interception in the last 7 games. 16-1. He's really put it together. Jordan Love has absolutely proven that he's the franchise quarterback. The Packers have the youngest team in the league by far. They are injury ridden. Jair Alexander didn't play last week because he was suspended for being a jackass. You have Jaden Reed, who was also hurt again with the chest injury against the Vikings. He's an explosive playmaker, so hopefully he's fine. Christian Watson's been out. Dontavian Wicks has been injured at times. Aaron Jones has been injured at times. AJ Dillon broke one of his fingers on his hand. So Jordan Love is doing this with injuries. David Bakhtiari is hurt, but I don't even consider him part of the team anymore. Actually, here's a new thing. I will no longer be counting David Bakhtiari as part of the team because he doesn't play anyway. So even if he's on our team next year, he won't play. So I'm not going to count him as part of the team. So you look, Jordan Love's doing this with injuries across the board. They win, they're in the playoffs. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at Lambeau. I think he's going to go out there and take care of business. Jordan Love, his statistics is a funny stat for you. Jordan Love now has more pass yards and more pass touchdowns than in this season than any Bears quarterback in a single season history in his first season.
That's not saying much.
It's not. It was Kramer back in '95 for the Bears. There's a fact for y'all. So I mean, you look Green Bay, man, they're gonna win this game. I hope because you look. Last year we were in the same position. We had a game at Lambeau. We win, we get in against the Lions, and we lost, and we were eliminated. So I hope history has a different outing this week for us because we were literally in the same boat last year. I want to go to the playoffs. If the Packers win this game and get in the playoffs, I don't care if we lose the first game of the playoffs 84-0. I don't care because there will be making the playoffs for the Packers this year would be an absolute historic thing for me. That would just be an amazing thing. I don't have any expectations for us in the playoffs, but an opportunity to get there. Give me Jordan Love. I'm betting on him. Give me the Pack.
And it's supposed to snow that game too, apparently.
Yes, perfect. As football should be. We'll see what the football have in store for us. However, me and JB will move on to the next game. With that, this is a team the Packers could play in the first round if they beat the Bears. Who do you have? The Dallas Cowboys? And this is our last week to say this for this year. We won't say this again until next year. Ready? Or the Washington Commanders. Are you going to take command?
No, I never will. um, even though the Cowboys, they're probably going to rest if they get a big lead. They're just gonna rest their starters, and they're gonna if they get a big lead, they're gonna rest their starters. Either way, Cowboys are gonna win easy. Um, like I said, if they get with a huge lead and Commanders can't come back to it, I think it's done for. And I think it's going to be an easy dub anyways for the Cowboys. So, not really much to say. Commanders, they just suck. Because they got too many DBs that are on or injured right now. Saint Justine, Kendall Fuller, Christian Holmes, Tyreek Castro Fields is all injured right now, and Cowboys really doesn't have anybody. So yeah, give me the Cowboys.
I agree with you. Dallas is still playing for the division right now. Because, I mean, if you look, if Dallas loses to the Commanders and Philadelphia wins, Philadelphia is the division winner, and now Dallas has to go on the road. And Dallas is not a good road team. They're historically a bad road team this year. However, the Cowboys are undefeated at home. So they know that. They're aware of that. This is an away game, so I don't think Dallas will bring their 100% A game, but I think they're definitely good enough still to beat the Commanders, even though the every loss the Cowboys have had this year has been on the road, and the Cowboys are not a good road team. So I think the Cowboys are going to get the win here. I would say they get the win by 10 points. I think the Commanders, it's a rivalry game. The Commanders and the Cowboys don't get along, going back to the Redskin days. So it's a rivalry game. So I think the Commanders will come out. They'll try to fight. They'll try to win. They have nothing to lose. Who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to spoil our rivals. Let's try to spoil our rivals' parade. The Bears will try to do the same thing against Green Bay. Let's try to ruin our arch nemesis' happiness. So I think the Commanders will try to do the same thing, but it isn't going to be enough. Dallas is a bad road team, but they'll still win by 10 points, I say. Give me the Cowboys. I'm not taking command. No more taking command for 2023 season. Oh, a sad day. However, moving forward, who we got? This is the last time we'll be talking about these two teams too. The Denver Broncos at the Vegas Raiders. Both teams have also been eliminated.
I'm probably going to pick the Raiders, just for the fact that Russell Wilson is benched for the rest of the season. And then Trevor Simeon, or not Trevor Simeon. Sorry, my fault. My fault. Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, Trevor. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you were thinking the Jets.
Yep. I don't know. I was thinking about the Jets. But yeah, Jarrett Stidham. He looked okay against the Chargers, even though they only scored 16 points on the Chargers. That is all. And their run game was barely showed up for the Broncos. Jarrell McLaughlin, 8 carries. I hate last names sometimes, especially if there's something like that. 8 carries for 44 yards. Javonte Williams, 15 carries for 41. Samari Pierce, 4 for 10. And Jarrett Stidham, he went 6 carries for 6 yards with a total of 101. Honestly, when it came to the Chargers, I think you should just at least put more than 16 points up. Like, come on. I mean, if it was Russell Wilson, he probably would have done it. All because he didn't want to take a pay cut. I think
And
that's
that's what it
sad.
is.
I don't think it's sad, but I mean, it is what it is. Jared Stidham went 20 for 32, 100, not 100, 224 yards and 1 interception. But yeah, it looked, on paper, it looks horrible. But, I mean, like I said, I think the Broncos should have put more numbers up than other than just 16. So, give me the Raiders.
I agree with you. I think the Raiders win this game. I think the Raiders are playing for more. Yes, both teams have been eliminated, but you know Sean Payton's not being fired. They're going to move on from Russell Wilson and keep Sean Payton, and that's a straight business decision. The amount of money Denver gave Russell Wilson for the production they're getting, they're paying him top dollar. And let's be honest, Russell Wilson's not worth the contract he's currently getting, but
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson is still a good quarterback in the NFL. He's just not worth the money Denver gave him. And Denver's aware of that, so they're going to try to move on from Russ. And like I said, they moved on to Jared Stidham. And Jared Stidham, like you said, he went out there and got the win. But Jared Stidham's no more than a good backup quarterback at best in the NFL. Jared Stidham is not the answer moving forward in Denver. They're just probably trying to evaluate him, see if he's worth bringing back for next year. That's what Denver's doing at this point. Now, the Raiders, however, are a little chippier. Antonio Pierce is currently 500 right now as the Raiders interim coach. He's fighting for his coaching life right now and trying to fight to become the Raiders' permanent coach. Um, so you look, if the Raiders win this game, Antonio Pierce will have finished with a winning record. If they lose this game, he will be finished with a losing record. Antonio Pierce is currently 500 um, with what he has coached since McDaniels has been fired. So that's a big thing for Antonio Pierce. I think he's going to want to go out there, especially against a division rival, and get a win and prove to Davis and Raiders ownership that he deserves to be the coach. Those Raider players really, I think, want him to be the coach. They seem really excited for him. A lot of them have made it public that they want him to be the guy. So they're going to go out there, even though they're eliminated, and they're going to play very hard for Denver against Denver here. I think they're going to go out there, and I think the Raiders are going to win this game pretty easily. I think they really like Antonio Pierce, and they're really going to fight for him to try to get him this head coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Raiders. I think to kind of end on that, I think especially these Week 18 games that are really hard to predict, when it comes to interim coaches, you have to look at stuff like that. Do the players want him to be the coach? Absolutely, the Raiders players want Pierce to be the coach. So
Mm-hmm.
you know they'll want to fight.
Yep.
You know they are. They're going to go out there and want to win for the coach.
Exactly.
All right, me and JB are on the same page. We're taking the Raiders. All right. Who we got this week, though? The Philadelphia Eagles or the New York Football Giants? There's been quite a bit of Eagles cry last few weeks. So
I mean, with everything being said, even though um, Philadelphia hasn't been playing good lately, um, and the Giants has been moving the ball down the field pretty well, but I don't think they just can't get the job done on Christmas, as the day of. Um, they barely won, but in the second half, Philadelphia kind of owned the New York Giants. But yeah, with everything being said, I do believe it's going to probably be the exact same way. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles. And I will keep saying it. That offense is too elite. They have too many weapons. But that defense needs to put some
yeah,
up in their step and actually get it together.
I 100% agree with you because, like I said, the Eagles' defense is worse than the Packers' defense, and the Packers have been Packer Nation across the world has been calling for Joe Barry to be fired. And Matt LaFleur has been getting some heat as well for not doing so. So,
Yep.
I mean, and for the Eagles' defense to be ranked worse than the Packers' defense in that category, that's not good. So, you look, I think Philadelphia is able, like you said, to win this game. I think that the Giants have been eliminated. Philadelphia has a bad taste in their mouth. I think they're going to band together. They just played in the Super Bowl. They've been in the playoffs the last couple years. They're in the playoffs this year, no matter what. And I mean, if Dallas does lose to the Commanders, and I don't think that'll happen, but anything can happen in the NFL. You never know. I mean, the Eagles still could win the division here, so they're playing for a little bit of something. And you know the Eagles are at least going to play their players because the Eagles have not looked good the last few weeks. So they're going to try to win this game based on trying to get ready for the playoffs. And this is their last opportunity to do so. Philadelphia is more talented. They have a better coach. They have a better quarterback. They have a better receiving core. So give me the Eagles. I think this is a sneaky game, but I think Philadelphia will pull away. Give me the Eagles.
I agree.
All right. This is a sneaky game. The Seattle Seahawks at the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle's kind of choking away their playoff hopes.
Yep.
They need some help.
And
They need some help.
and I think they're gonna choke again. Give me the Cardinals. And I'll tell you why.
Ooh,
And I'll
okay.
tell you why. You see how the Steelers ran the ball? And you seen how Cardinals
I
ran the
will.
ball.
Mm-hmm.
And the Seahawks has a horrible run game. Or a horrible defensive run game. So, and then Kyler has been phenomenal when it comes to good defense that has good pass coverage. I mean, we seen it against the Eagles, right? So, I mean, 3 touchdowns and only 1 interception. And then James Conner with 128 yards, like total yards, 221 on the ground. Like, I mean, you can't beat it.
Right.
So with that being said, it's looking really tough for the Seattle Seahawks because that Cardinals offense is looking like it's something out of nothing. So yeah, all because of the Cardinals offense is now looking like an elite offense with no weapons, no nothing. All they have is James Conner and Kyler Murray. If it was on paper, it's what it looks like. But Kyler Murray is making it do, and it's working. So the Seahawks are done for. So give me the Cardinals.
And I can't argue with you because the Seahawks have the sixth worst defense in the National Football League. The Seahawks have a worse defense than the Buccaneers, the Colts, the Steelers, the Packers, all those teams. And they're a top 10 worst defense in the league. So everything you said is correct. But I'm still picking Seattle. I had Seattle as a playoff team. Everything you said is right. Seattle has not been playing good football. But I think Seattle's able to win this game. This is simply a gut feeling. I don't think Green Bay loses to Chicago, so I think either way Seattle's eliminated. But I think Seattle's going to be able to finish the season strong here. Geno Smith has still proven to be an above-average quarterback. I wouldn't call him good, but I would call him at least above average. Pete Carroll's a great coach. He's a defensive coach. This is a division rivalry. I think Seattle's going to come to play. They're well coached. They're going to have a good week of prep from coaching, film sessions, practice. Pete Carroll's going to have them ready to play. They have players. They have Kenneth Walker. They have DK Metcalf. So the Seahawks are a very talented football team. They're just not able to, it seems like, finish when it's needed this season, especially. And they've had a rough stretch over the last half of the season of not being able to finish games. That Rams game in particular that comes to mind. So I mean, I'm picking Seattle here. I don't know if it's because I don't know. It's a gut feeling, man. Give me the Seahawks.
All right.
All right, who we have here? These are also two teams have already the 49ers have clinched the number 1 seed in the National Football Conference, and the Rams have clinched a wild card. So who do you have? The Rams at the Niners. This is also another possible resting game here, possibly for both teams, truly.
Oh, I
Because
do.
CMC,
I believe it's going to be a resting game for both teams to be a fact. Um, I do believe if both teams get a touchdown, I think they're going to rest the rest of their starters. But I do believe CMC is going to play for a little bit longer.
CMC has already been ruled out to get healthy for the playoffs per the 49ers.
Oh, well, there we go. Never mind. I take that back. I should probably be, if I'm a good person or a good looking through things, I should probably have this already up and ready, but I don't.
Your boy Chandler got it up here. You're good.
So, with that being said, I do believe the 49ers has a better set or backups than what the Rams have at this point. I don't think the Rams barely has nothing. Um so yeah, give me 49ers.
I agree with you. Excuse me. Again, feel better from our cold, but still kind of recovering a little bit. So you look, especially in these resting games, like I said, you kind of gotta. These games are hard to pick. Um, the Rams haven't had a lot of draft capital because they gave a lot of their draft capital up for that Super Bowl win. The 49ers are a better top to bottom team, 53-man roster. So with that, even if they do play their backups, I trust the Niners backups a little more than I do the Rams backups, and I think Kyle Shanahan is a better coach than Sean McVay is, even though McVay has the ring and Shanahan does not. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think Shanahan's a better coach than McVay is.
Oh, man.
So you add that into the consideration, and this game's in San Francisco. I think the Niners win. I don't think either team will be playing for much, but I think the Niners win. They're a better top to bottom football team.
I agree.
All right. Moving forward, this is also a possible resting game because the Chiefs have clinched the division and cannot move in the standings as well. And the Chargers have been eliminated. So who do you have? The Kansas City Chiefs at the LA Chargers.
Um right now I really haven't seen anything of cuz I learned my mistake from last pick. I actually looked over and see if there was anyone resting on the Kansas City Chiefs, and I do not see any news article or anything that they're resting on my end.
Well, it's only Monday. That's
It
the
is
kicker. Me and you
that's
would do.
yeah, that is the thing that it is Monday for us. So it's haven't seen anything yet, but if they do, I do believe even regardless of if the the bleh, the Chiefs rest or not, I do believe regardless the Chiefs are going to win. That Chargers organization, offense and defense, is in shambles. They suck, uh, terribly suck. So give me the Chiefs.
I agree with you. The Chargers haven't won a game since the 6-0 December 3rd game against the Patriots.
Yep.
They haven't even won a game since Brandon Staley's been fired. The Chargers are absolutely abysmal. I mean, the Chiefs, double digit win seasons again. Even in a season where they struggle, they're still division champions. They're still going to get a home playoff game. They still have Travis Kelce, who's putting up pretty good numbers. He's near 1,000 yards. Pat Mahomes, who still put up pretty good numbers this season as well. The thing is with this, the Chiefs have a top 5 defense in the National Football League this season. The Browns have the best, but it's a top 5 defense statistically in the NFL. The
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs actually are the second best defense. They only allow 285.8 yards a game total. So the Chiefs have the second best defense against Ethan Stick in the Chargers
Stick.
on an stick on an interim head coach. I'm not taking those odds, even if they rest starters. The Chiefs win this game. This is again one of those weird, funky, possible rest games. And it kind of sucks we're doing the podcast on a Monday, unfortunately, because if it was like a Friday or something like that, we would have a little more insight possibly on who was resting. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think Kansas City wins this game either way. I mean, give me the Chiefs. They're better coached. They have a better top to bottom roster. They have a better record. Give me the Chiefs.
Yep.
Now, here's a game we know people aren't resting because this game is for the division. The loser could have to go on the wild card. Who do you got? The Buffalo Bills at
Buffalo
the
Bill.
Miami Dolphins. Buffalo Bill. Do it. Go ahead.
Buffalo. Um, I mean, for everything that has the Buffalo has been struggling, I would like to say they have been struggling to get these wins, especially with the New England game. 27-21. I mean, it looked rough. I think it looked really rough to watch that game. Only put 13 points in the first quarter, and the rest, or the second and third, only 7 points, and then nothing in the fourth. I mean, yes, even though Bailey Zappi did throw 3 interceptions, but Josh Allen looked even worse, in my opinion. Josh Allen went 15 for 30, 169 yards, and 1 interception. Basically, the only thing that actually worked out is him rush 2 in on that drive, or on his carries. But yeah, James Cook really didn't do anything. But basically, everyone that rushed really didn't do anything. Receiving, like, nothing happened in on receiving wise. Josh Allen even fumbled twice. I mean, it looked really rough for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, even though it was an ugly win. So yeah, it looked really rough. I don't think they're not gonna do that to the Miami, because I think Miami's going to win this, even though they got skunked out by Baltimore by 56-19. Even though Tua looked okay, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Tyreek Hill has not gotten over, I want to say, over 100 yards in the past 3. Yeah, the last 3 games he hasn't went over 100 yards. On the Dallas game, he almost hit 100 with 99, but no games over 100 yet of the last 3 games. Those are the exact 3 games he didn't even score a touchdown. So I think that race to getting that 2,000 receiving yards is going to be done. I think it's over with. But it was
Absolutely is.
one heck of a run for Tyreek Hill. He almost made it. No receiver has. I don't think no receiver has really done that in a single season, in my knowledge. So, it was.
It's been done, but it's hard.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I said to my knowledge. But.
Right.
But yeah. It's. But yeah. I don't think. I don't think the Dolphins are not going to get skunked out by the Buffalo Bills, because there's no Buffalo Bills game that actually had them look like, oh yeah, this is a great team. No, I don't think it has any, because the only game that they actually really skunked out was the Commanders and the Jets. Probably one of the worst teams that they have faced. Even though they won against the Dolphins 48-20. I don't know if you want to count that as a skunking game. Even though it was by 28 points.
Oh, when you lose by over 20, it's a skunking.
But anyways, I don't think that ever since that, they really haven't really shown anything to me that they're worth something. So give me the Dolphins.
Okay, and you took an opposite approach there. And to correct myself, it has never been done. A receiver has never hit 2,000 yards. The closest was Calvin at 1,964, and he still holds that record with the Lions. So that was back in the 2012 season.
Yep.
So you picked Miami here, and I am surprised because I'm picking Buffalo here. I think Buffalo wins this game. Buffalo will win the division. I think Miami will have to go on the road and be a wild card team. I have said it since the season started. People can go back. JB is my witness. People can go back on our old videos and quote me on this because it is I'm on record. The Dolphins will start amazing. Will kind of skitter at the end of the season when the weather gets cold because they're a warm weather team. They're an offensive team. They have the number one offense in the NFL. And when they have to go and play in not the most ideal conditions, their offense is not nearly as efficient. And their defense isn't good enough to catch up that slack. Especially now after Bradley Chubb has now had a season ending injury because he was out there when the game was already out of reach. Mike McDaniel did own up to that and said he wished he had a time machine and would go back in time. He just wanted his players wanted to finish the game, he said, and finish it strong. I understand that as an athlete, you want to go out there and you want to finish strong, no matter how much you're losing by. I get that, but that's brutal. Two of their best defensive players are now out on IR. They could very well lose the division here. This is the most Miami Dolphins thing ever because the Dolphins are still locked in the playoffs. They're going to be a wild card team. But here's the thing, man. Their offense hasn't looked quite the same since the weather got cold. And now if they lose this game, they're going to have to go on the road in the playoffs. And I don't think they'll win a single game if they have to go in a cold weather area. I'm quoted, the Dolphins, when the weather gets colder, they'll start to fold a little bit. This happened last season. Yes, Tua was hurt last year, but this exact same thing happens to them every time. October, November, the weather's beautiful. They're going to get a bunch of wins, put a bunch of points on the board, but they're not a physical football team. They're not. The Buffalo Bills are. The Buffalo Bills can grind out wins. They can get ugly football wins. The Bills are like the king of ugly football wins. The Dolphins need everything to go pretty. I think this is going to be less ideal for Miami with their injuries. This is going to be an ugly game. I think Buffalo wins a good game, but Buffalo wins this division, man. I'm keeping on my word.
All right.
Buffalo.
But remember, this game is in Miami.
It is. It is.
So
And I get that. It's just, man, just seems like where Miami always seems to fall up short. They always seem to get right there where they need to be, and then boom. Because, yeah, they win this game. They have them a home playoff game. We're having a whole different conversation. But I'm telling you, I everything lined up perfectly for Buffalo. Buffalo had some really good luck. They got some help. Buffalo has a better defense than Miami. Buffalo has a better quarterback than Miami. Miami has some injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I think Buffalo gets an ugly win here. The weather seems to get cold. The end of the season, crunch time happens, and Miami seems to let it slip away. It's been that way our whole life.
yep.
Give me the Bills. The Dolphins until they show me they can finish a season. Yeah, they're gonna be a wild card team. Give me the Bills. Miami will win.
Alright.
Will lose their first playoff game.
Already predicting
It's a
it
hard take.
early.
That's right. That's my take. I think Buffalo wins a good game here, and then Miami has to go on the road in a colder environment and lose. So with that, me and JB now. Congratulations, my friend. We have now predicted every NFL regular season game that was played this season. So as you can see, with 17 weeks in the books here, JB is 157.99. I am 163.93. As you guys can see, we both had pretty good seasons, so we both know what we're talking about. So keep up to date. One more week, and we'll see who gets that free DoorDash. So one more week to see. Me and JB officially have made it through the regular season. So congratulations, my friend. We did it. So with that, me and JB are going to switch over to the pivot to the world of the NBA here. And me and JB definitely aren't going to talk about winners because one thing we're going to talk about our subtopic today is the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons were finally able to end their horrifying losing streak when they won the other night against the Toronto Raptors. Um, it was one of the longest losing streaks in NBA history at 28 games, and it was the longest single season losing streak in NBA history and tied for the longest overall losing streak the league has ever seen. So they were able to break that and not singly own that record. So JB, 1 minute to talk about the Pistons. What do you make of their team then breaking that horrible losing streak? What do you got for the Pistons? Your 1 minute starts now and go.
Well, I mean, with all the starters that they have, Cade Cunningham, he's a good player. With behind his 30 points and 12 assists, and some clutch shooting from Kevin Knox, Alec Burke, and Bojan. I mean, with everything, it's hard to predict that a horrible team like the Detroit Pistons, only won by 2 though. I mean, it's hard to talk about a horrible team that how they did so well in that game. I mean, like I said, it's hard to talk about it because I mean all starters played really well. They all had double digits on the points. But then if you look at the Raptors, they played even better, in my opinion. But it just came down to the last second, and yeah, the Pistons won. So I mean, like I said, it's really hard to talk about a team that has that long 28 game losing streak. And even though they lost to the Rockets, I just seen. So
Today, yes.
So yeah, so it's like I said, it's really hard to talk about a horrible team that's like, yeah, good job. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's good job, you know. And then you go back and lose. So I mean, it's really hard. But Cade Cunningham, I think he has so much potential. I think he should be on a different team. Yeah, it's really hard. So,
And you are correct, JB. You are absolutely correct. It's hard to talk about the Pistons right now because there's not really a lot to get excited about. And I'm going to start here. I don't really know how that long of a losing streak happens. I mean, man, it takes some effort to get to 28 consecutive games. That's the longest single season losing streak in the history of the NBA. And it's tied for the longest the league has ever seen. The league's old. The NBA is an old league. That's hard to do. Because you look at the Pistons right now with their loss tonight with the Rockets, because they did lose today 136 to 113 to the Rockets. So they're 3-30. The Pistons are 3 wins and 30 losses. They're horrible, and they're really not that horrible on paper. Because you look, Cade Cunningham's a baller. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's averaging 23.5 points, 4.1 rebounds, 7.2 assists this year. So I mean, he's putting up all-star reserve numbers. I mean, you looked the other night, for 3 straight games, he had 30 points, 31 points, 41 points. So, I mean, he's a really, really good player. He's a first-round pick. You look, Jaden Ivey, he's averaging over 10 points a game. He's from Purdue. He's a first-round pick. I mean, you look, they have Bojan. He's a veteran player in the NBA who's been a good role player his whole career. Jalen Duren, who is a power forward for the Pistons, he was a first-round pick recently. He was... Oh, let me see here. He's averaging a double-double right now and is a first-round pick. He's 20 years old. He was picked in 2022, 13th pick. So the Pistons have first-round, top-notch college talent. So to be able to go out there and lose 28 games in a row like that, that's hard to do. I mean, their coach, Monty Williams, I am not a fan of firing a coach the first year he's hired. I'm not. because you can't progress as a team. I've talked about that in the NFL a little bit. You can't progress as a team. You can't get better because you can't take a dumpster fire and turn it into gold 1 year. You can't. But I want to make an exception here. They need to fire Monty Williams. How do you lose that many games in a row with that many young, talented players? I get it. I don't expect the Pistons to be a playoff team this year. I never did. But I sure the hell expected them to be a lot better than 3 wins, 30 losses, embarrassing themselves and their fans, breaking the single season NBA losing streak. You gotta be better than that. They've actually gotten worse from last year. You need to see progression. So let's say you win 31 games.
Yep.
Now next year you want to win 38. You want to win 39. You want to get better. The Pistons aren't getting better, they're getting worse. So with that, they need to fire Monty Williams. He's not the answer. I feel bad for Pistons fans. They have a long road. They have talented players. They really do. They shouldn't be 3-30. It has to be a coaching problem at that point.
And I agree.
But that's all we have for today's Unbiased Hard Take. Again, I'm proud of us. We have officially made it through an entire NFL season, my friend. And next time you see me and JB, we will be wrapping up the last of the regular season and talking playoffs. Yeah, we will talk about playoffs.
Playoffs?
It'll be an exciting time. Playoffs? This will be an exciting time. So, JB, anything you want to wrap up on? Our regular season recap?
It's been one heck of a ride. And my mind is blank right now. But yeah, it's been one heck of a ride, for us, for doing this one whole season. Thank you guys for tuning in with us for day 1 of the regular season in the NFL. We really thank you, and we really appreciate it. With that being said, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And like I said, everyone loves free stuff. Subscribing is free. So hit that bell for notifications when we put up a video up. So, and on our Facebook, don't forget to check on the Sports Fact of the Day. He does a fantastic job on the sports facts and everything. So that's all I have.
I second everything JB just said. Again, the Steelers and Packers are here. We're playing for our playoff lives in Week 18. We win and get in. It's that simple. It's ownership week against the Bears. Jordan Love is that guy. He's an owner. He's the owner of the Bears. So you already know it's going to be a win. I second everything JB said. Again, thank you all for catching in. The rest of the whole season predicted, and many more seasons to come. This YouTube channel is going absolutely nowhere. So with that, that's all I have. Until next week, go Pat, go. Let's get in the playoffs, baby. Let's go Heat and boil her up.
And I'm same thing. Go Steelers, go Heat, and go Purdue. See you next week.
See y'all.